Hey everyone, my name is Sophie and welcome back to my channel, and today I will be talking about probably the most requested question that I've ever gotten on my channel, which is how I scored highly on the SAT reading section. Now this video is not just about SAT reading, it'll just be about the SAT in general. So for those of you who might be new to the channel, just letting you know, I have taken the SAT twice now, and my first time I got a 1520, and I think that was a 770 on reading and a 750 on math, and my second time I took it I got a 1500, and that was a 780 on reading and writing and a 720 on math. Whenever I posted the video for my score reaction, the comments just kind of exploded with everyone wanting to know how I scored highly on the SAT reading section. I will cover that super quickly because I think the SAT is totally a masterable test and you can totally manage it if you know some strategies and some ways to really study for it. And here are my two top SAT tips. My first tip is probably one of the reasons, if not like the biggest reason, that I did well on the SAT, and that is Khan Academy. So Khan Academy was kind of like my saving grace. I can't exactly remember when I started studying for the real SAT after I'd taken the PSAT, but it really wasn't terribly long. I think I studied during the summer, or I tried to study during the summer pretty rigorously. I definitely didn't hit every day by any means, but I had a good stretch of time where I would do it pretty much every day or every other day. Khan Academy has a really interesting feature where you can sign up to do 10 questions a day, I think it is, and it alternates every day if it's math or if it's reading and writing. So it's kind of like switches things up and keeps it interesting. So I thought that was really great, having something to do every day and like continually preparing for that. And one of the reasons that I love Khan Academy especially is because they partner with the SAT. So all of the Khan Academy questions are like screened or something, like they are SAT approved, like they are the #1 approved SAT studying resource. The math questions especially that you get on Khan Academy are exactly like the ones that you get in the SAT. There are certain types of Khan Academy questions where they give you a formula and you have to take one of the variables from the formula and then solve for that instead. So for Khan Academy, I guess I missed that at some point. Whenever you miss something on Khan Academy or a certain type of problem, they'll quiz you on that again and again, not in like a rote memory kind of way, but they'll bring it back so that you're able to study that and work harder on that. I had done that before, so when I got on the SAT, as soon as I saw that problem, there was like no thinking involved. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I have to do for this. So Khan Academy is so good at preparing you for the stuff that the SAT really actually tests. So that's super awesome. So on that same note of the SAT and kind of mastering that, I suppose, the SAT is such a predictable test, especially for the writing section. So I myself am more of a reading-writing person, so I don't mind that so much. But for the SAT writing, once you kind of know the type of questions, and once you've taken a test, even a practice test, you've kind of taken them all. Once you kind of get the idea for SAT writing, that's really all you need to go off of for the rest of your test. Reading has a little more nuance and math has a little more nuance because there's always an element of, you know, what if there's a weird question or a difficult passage, but for SAT writing, it's pretty solid throughout. So definitely recommend grinding on Khan Academy if you're not really an English type person or like English history isn't really your thing, then working on Khan Academy to really get those grammar rules under control, and then the writing section afterwards is such a breeze. My second big tip for the SAT is just reading in general. I know a lot of people are kind of math and science minded, I definitely am not, so I like to read a lot outside of school, you know, just something that I like to do, and I think that just reading and being engaged and actively reading outside of school besides summer reading or textbooks is something that is so beneficial to your test. Even just reading something that you like, it doesn't have to be super serious, so if you're even just reading Harry Potter, it gives you a sense of theme and sentence structure and flow and grammatical conventions in real context that you actually enjoy and like to read for fun. And one quick strategy for math is really guess and check, or like plug and chug, is not a bad method at all. If you're completely stumped on a problem, a lot of the ways that you can solve it is just take the middle answer, because I believe the SAT, alphabetical order isn't the right term for it, but they'll go in like from the smallest number to the biggest number of the answer choices, like it might be 1, 2, 8, 16, 24. But plugging in the middle number, and then if your result comes out too high, you know to go for B and A instead of C because my number was too big. If your number's too low, then you use D and E. That's kind of a bad explanation, but just plug and chug is a good method if you're completely and utterly stumped on SAT math. So that happens sometimes because I feel like for ACT, the math is all somewhat reasonable, but for the SAT, sometimes they'll throw in some random stuff at you. Not often, it'll usually be just like one problem, so don't forget. Sometimes they'll just throw some crazy, like out of left field sort of problem, and you'll be like, what is this? I'm so confused. On the whole, the SAT is different than the ACT, and that the SAT tries to trick you, and the ACT really just kind of tests what you want to know. The SAT is something of a tricky test in that regard, which kind of stinks. But once you really get a solid foundation and know the questions that the SAT is asking, you know the type of questions and a really easy, quick way to solve them, if you have a solid basis in grammar and you're skilled with reading, then that's really good. Oh, another quick tip for reading. So what I like to do, I am a firm believer in annotation. I know maybe your 7th grade English teacher pounded annotation into you and maybe you just hate the thought of it, and that's okay. But I really like annotation because it helps me go back to what I think was important the first time. Personally, I like to circle names and then I underline important sentences. So it's not super involved, it really doesn't take too long. I usually read through the passage with my annotations and then go right on to the questions. I'm a pretty firm believer in reading through the passage first, especially for the SAT. We'll ask questions about tone, theme, that sort of thing. So definitely getting involved in the passage so you kind of have an understanding of the way that the passage flows and the information, then you'll be good to go. I hope this was a helpful video, and if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. I'll be totally glad to answer them. And if you have any ideas for future videos, just let me know. Got a comment just the other day about maybe showing in actual video how my ACT science strategy really works, and if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it somehow. So that's kind of it. Thank you so much for checking out my channel and hope you enjoyed, and just let me know. You got any questions? I'm here for you. See ya.